Hello out there, and welcome to today's card analysis stream. I am Poetic Heretic, and we shall indeed be examining the Eight of Wands card today. As usual, I have both the Rider-Waite-Smith version and the Crowley-Thoth version of the card. So I will be giving my interpretation of the card first, and then we'll be examining other interpretations and see what information we can gather about this fascinating card. So, does everything sound good? Okay. Just making sure that we are recording, that audio is being picked up. I can see on here that YouTube is still not displaying the fact that I am streaming right now, or you have to go to my channel to see this. So I don't know if we'll even really be all that likely to have anyone show up during this stream, but that's all right. It's not really that different from usual anyway with these kinds of streams. So yes, without further ado, let us get started. So looking at the Eight of Wands card, here's the Rider-Waite-Smith version yet again. So it's an interesting contrast, first of all, from the previous card, the Seven of Wands, to the Eight of Wands, because whereas the Seven of Wands was all about holding a fixed position, now here in the Eight of Wands, it's all about movement, quick changes happening, swift movement. It's literally known as swiftness in the Thoth version of the card, as we shall see. So we have, as we so often do in tarot, that juxtaposition of fixedness or rigidity, holding a fixed position, and then movement, swift movement, fast movement, rapid change with the Eight of Wands. So that's primarily how I indicate it, or how I interpret it when I get this card in a tarot reading, is that, oh, it's an indicator of things changing, things moving very quickly, of brainstorming perhaps, or working against the clock, or working under pressure to deliver perhaps. Of course, with it being fire, of the fire element, with wands have that added rapidity to it. Fire is already a very much associated with fast movement and that sort of thing. And so being of that element, it is no wonder that this card is all about quick change and that sort of thing. With it being an 8, we can associate it with the 8th house of business and people's money, shared resources, your partner's money, your partner's values, issues surrounding death and mortality. Some people associate sex with the 8th house, though that is controversial as to whether that is truly an appropriate association or not. And I will take this time to remind people that I do not recommend, by the way, associating the 8th house with the sign of Scorpio, nor do I recommend associating any houses with any signs, because that really sort of corrupts the houses and the signs. Also, you know what? Since this isn't displaying properly on Twitter, I'm just going to take a moment to share it to Twitter. Since this isn't displaying properly on YouTube, I'm going to take a moment to share it to Twitter. I think I said Twitter the first time when I meant to say YouTube. It's been quite the morning. All right, so one moment, please. Okay, just gonna get this shared to Twitter. Looking at the Eight of Wands card right now. Tweet. Okay, I'm gonna do one more little sound check here. Okay. There, now that it's been shared to Twitter, there is at least a slight chance, a small chance, that someone else will come join us today. Someone replied to my tweet about, hang on. I guess I really shouldn't multitask like this. But anyway. Okay, so indeed, the Eight of Wands. So let's look a little more closely, a little more deeply at this card now by looking at the Thoth version of the card, which is where we're really going to find the in-depth symbolism. As you can see from this card, first of all, its astrological correspondence is Mercury. This is me on my screen. Is Mercury in Sagittarius. So that's interesting because Mercury is considered to be either in its fall or detriment. I can't actually recall which at the moment, but either in its fall or detriment when in Sagittarius. In other words, it doesn't do well in Sagittarius, generally speaking. Mercury doesn't like being in Sagittarius. And my thesis on that, I guess, is that that's likely because Mercury, the planet Mercury, is very much interested in facts and data and information. It's actually just plain interested in information, not even necessarily just facts, but just plain information. Whereas Sagittarius, with its Jupiter rulership, is, and I'm thinking primarily of the planet Jupiter here, but it applies to Sagittarius as well, is very much interested in beliefs and ideals and things of this nature, more sort of spiritual, philosophical things. And so Mercury, the way I see it, kind of doesn't know what to do with that almost. Mercury is like, what do you mean beliefs? What do you mean philosophy? I'm just interested in data. Just I process information. I exchange information, ones and zeros. And now you are coming at me with this thing you call a belief, philosophy. Like, Mercury almost doesn't know what to do with that. A belief or a philosophy is almost more of a right-brained kind of thing, whereas Mercury is much more a left-brain kind of thing. It's logic and looking at parts in contrast with looking at things more like spiritually or intuitively, or maybe in a more holistic sense. So Mercury in Sagittarius. Now, of course, for those who may be a bit new to this, that does not mean that if you have Mercury in Sagittarius natally or Mercury in Pisces, the other place where it does not do well, that does not mean that, you're automatically not going to do well when it comes to Mercury things. Astrology is infinitely more complicated than that. And so is life itself, and our reasons for incarnating. We purposefully set up challenges for ourselves of various natures to learn and experience various things anyway. So let that be understood. But so we have that interesting contrast, right, in the Eight of Wands. And I did look a little deeper into this card a while back, though, to be perfectly transparent, I can't recall everything I learned about it, but we'll be getting into it anyway. But what's so interesting, though, about the symbolism of this card also is that in conjunction with that Mercury communication element, we have these like jagged lines of the wands themselves. They're in this sort of jagged, sort of lightning almost look, almost like an electrical look, as if to symbolize the exchange of information further. That mental energy, and also the idea of the bolt of lightning being something very quick, very fast, and so that may tie into this as well. Let me think, what else? It's funny, just as a sort of random anecdote, that there's a rainbow in this card because just 2 days ago, I think I woke up very early in the morning before my alarm went off, and I looked out the window and actually saw a rainbow. And now we're talking about a card with a rainbow on it. Interesting synchronicity there. But anyway, yes, indeed. You can see here, Eight of Wands in the Thoth deck is known as Swiftness. And other than that, I think that's pretty much my summary of it. Like I said, when I get it in a reading, I'm primarily thinking, oh, fast change, rapid change, quick things happening, quick change of pace. Also the side pressure, working under pressure, working against the clock, under pressure to deliver, that sort of thing. Which is kind of how it was for me getting ready today to do this stream. I was running late. I was trying to move very quickly. And I thought, wow, I'm literally experiencing the Eight of Wands as I'm getting ready to talk about the Eight of Wands. So isn't that just so fitting in our day-to-day lives? So without further ado, we're now going to dive into some various sources of information to learn more about this card, and I will give you my opinion and perspective on these sources of information and augment them with my own knowledge that I've gained up, or that I've gained up. What am I saying? That I have gained over the years. And so it should be a very fun time as always. Now, as has become my, I guess, more recent practice, I'm going to first, in general, start off with the simpler to maybe like intermediate level sources of information. I'm not going to get into the real heavy stuff at the beginning, but instead I'm going to save the heavier, more complex stuff for later on in the stream, so we can sort of build up for it, or build up to it. So just start with the easier stuff and then build up to the more complex, but also much deeper, more revealing symbolism. All right, so we shall start as usual with the Biddy Tarot ebook. Nice, sort of simple to intermediate source, I would say. All right. Eight of Wands. Description. In the RW Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Eight of Wands is a picture of 8 crystal-tipped and wire-wrapped rods hurtling through space, right past Jupiter, the Moon, and Earth. Interesting there. Jupiter, considering the Mercury and Sagittarius association with this card. Oh, one more thing. I also once heard this card associated with like finding love quickly or something like that, or something like the arrows of love moving fast and quickly or something like that. So I don't know, just throwing that out there in case it becomes more relevant. Meanings. When this card comes up in a reading, I would interpret it to mean forward movement, spiritual, mental, or physical, depending on its placement and surrounding cards. Forward movement that may be a step or two out of pace with the rest of the querent's thought patterns. To me, this is the bowl you over if you don't watch it type of energy. The Eight of Wands is suggesting to you that this week you need to start taking action and closing up loose ends. We all have projects we have started but have never quite finished. Now is the time to get yourself motivated again to bring movement into your life and complete some of those unfinished projects. It is also a good time to focus on one area and work hard at getting things moving again. Yeah, indeed. And especially, I would say, if you have been in maybe a stagnant or fixed or rigid position or situation recently, and then you get this card in a reading, especially if it's prominent in the reading, it's very suggesting that you get moving, similar to how, as I was saying, the Seven of Wands is very fixed, and then the Eight of Wands is all about movement. Because remember, the journey through the tarot is a journey indeed. Like the cards are telling a story of how one moves through processes in life, essentially. How one like moves through energy. It's a story, it's a journey. So I'm just making sure I get back to the right place. However, with all this movement and action, there may be haste which could result in wrong decisions being made. It will be important to have all your resources available to be used in your best interests. Want to speed things up, settle a matter of concern, or branch out on your own? You're approaching your goal, but your affairs will not be completely set, decided, or determined. The Eight of Wands can also indicate travel, especially air travel. You might be lucky enough to be going on a holiday this week to somewhere fun and invigorating. Use this holiday to regenerate and re-energize yourself again. Yeah, that is another common meaning of this card, is travel, that somehow slipped my mind as I was giving my own interpretation of it, especially with that Mercury in Sagittarius astrological correspondence, particularly Mercury, although Sagittarius is also very much a sign of like wanting to like move to the distant horizons or head for the horizon, and thus implying travel and like going far, we could say. Approaching your goal. New ideas are there, but they need swift action. A possible trip by way of air. Love find its way to you. Advancement in life and work may come too fast for you to handle. Oh, and also with the idea of travel by air, Mercury, of course, is an air planet. So there you go. Signals. You need to make your intentions perfectly clear before taking action. Plans, directions, and messages of love, romance, and appreciation must be communicated and understood. Do it and do it now. Do not waste time. Yeah, like especially if you got the Eight of Wands with a card like the Ace of Wands in a reading, and then especially also if you got additional cards backing those up, that kind of combination is a clear indicator in a reading of like, yes, whatever it is, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. You know, it's like the radio and Salad Fingers in that one episode. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. So that is what we have there. In readings, the Eight of Wands is often a sign that now is the time to declare yourself. All the elements are ready and will work for you as long as you don't hesitate. The iron is hot, so strike. Yes, strike while the iron is hot. If events are in motion, they will proceed rapidly. You may feel caught in a whirlwind, but soon the dust will settle, and you see how your plans have fared. Yeah, and this would be a good time to talk about, with this card, the energy of inspiration and the importance of following inspiration in life. Because basically, with the nature of this universe and the way that it works, when you feel a sudden impulse or inspiration to do something, if you're really going to ride that wave, you have minutes or maybe only even as little as a few seconds to act on that impulse, to act on that inspiration before it's too late. You know, when you get inspirations and impulses, this is one of the ways that you can start living a much more like in tune life and really get on the path you're meant to get on is like the universe or like your spirit guides or whatever is constantly trying to give you clues, give you signals as to like what direction you want to go in, since they have the bigger picture. And so often we feel that in the form of intuitive impulses, but you have to act on them fast. Again, you have seconds to maybe a couple minutes, depending on what it is, to take action on that impulse before it's too late. And the Eight of Wands card here is very much that energy. It's like, oh, you're getting the signal, act now, swift movement, or else the opportunity will pass and it will be too late and you'll just have to wait for the next wave of energy. But the good news is if you do miss your opportunity, there's literally always another and another and another and another. I mean, I don't know how it is for other people, but I feel like pretty much every day or almost every day I get impulses to do something and I follow them and they naturally lead me to greater advantages, let's say. And that can also be that can be a way to much more intuitively and holistically navigate the often labyrinthine seeming path of life and to get your needs met. It's like, oh, you have social needs, you have physical needs, you have all these different kinds of needs. Well, so often you can meet multiple needs at once by taking a certain action, and you'll get just this intuitive impulse to do so, and then you follow it, and then you've taken care of all that stuff in many cases without even knowing it, without even understanding the whole situation. Okay, so I think this is where we were. The Eight of Wands also stands for the arrival of news or information. You may see or hear something important. The news could show up in a disguised form, so stay alert. Pay attention to everything that comes your way for a while. This card also signifies endings. Sooner or later, all activities run their course. The Eight of Wands on this card not only symbolize putting events into motion, but also bringing them to a close. They appear to be ending their flight by coming down to earth. If you see the Eight of Wands in a reading, it may be time to conclude whatever you have been doing. Celebrate the past, but prepare to move on to something new. That's interesting. That is a meaning that I don't think I've ever heard or come across before with the Eight of Wands. The idea of endings. I would think that would be much more something we would see with the Nine of Wands, but I don't know. We'll look at that next week. The Eight of Wands denotes speed and rapid advancement of the situation in general. This haste could result in wrong decisions being made. It will be important to have all your resources available to be used in your best interests. Want to speed things up, settle a matter of concern, or branch out on your own. You're approaching your goal, but your affairs will not be completely set, decided, or determined. The Flight of Wands represents movement, change, and possibly travel. The struggles indicated in the Seven of Wands have been overcome, and now the creative journey is nearing its end, coming close to its ultimate completion. Energy moving swiftly could even have been, is that, I don't know, there's like a weird typo here. I think it's supposed to say could even be divine, as the wands appear to be thrown out of the sky. What seemed like slow motion will pick up speed. Any tasks, jobs, unanswered questions will be answered. The Eight of Wands represents a very focused kind of motion. The eights are all about structure, and the wands, being fire, are the most volatile kind of energy. So the structure doesn't produce something static. Instead, it creates a narrow channel through which the energy rushes. It's being so sure of your goal that all the distractions have been removed and you can devote yourself to the task with complete concentration, determination, and will. This experience can be very productive, allowing you to accomplish a lot in short time. But it's also kind of scary because there's no way to change course. Other possibilities get trampled. You don't want to get in the way when someone is in Eight of Wands mode. Yeah, I would say just on like an intuitive level from my experience with the Eight of Wands over the years, it has a very focused energy to it, with that. Well, I guess just in general, with focus comes speed. Anywhere you have speed or fast movement, there's also a lot of focus involved. And so we have that focused energy. Also, with it being Mercury in Sagittarius, first of all, Mercury is a planet that is constantly focused on information, data. Second of all, the energy of Mercury in Sagittarius is so often like the power of a focused belief, the power and focus of a belief, perhaps we could say. Swiftness, the end of delays, travel, movement, and swift resolution of problems, communication, telephone calls, letters, journeys, understanding, cooperation, helpful companions. Good news is on its way. Love affairs, seductions, proposals made and accepted, conclusions. Health issues, adrenal depletion, breathlessness, fertility, ribs, arteries, male sexual premature ejaculation / too fertile. Wow. That almost sounds more like what you would get, like particularly with health issues, with the Eight of Wands reversed. I wonder if that was meant to like be this card when reversed. I don't know. The Eight of Wands indicates quick change and action. This could indicate a coming change in your employment status, or it might indicate that your ideal job would be one that requires quick thought and action. You'll need a sharp mind to keep up with the challenges of such a fast-paced job, but you are equal to the task if you work hard. Decisions will have to be made in a split second, and there will be little room for error. This could be an exhausting job, but it also could be very rewarding financially and emotionally. Possible categories would be emergency healthcare, air traffic controllers, military, financial / investment, politics, and law enforcement, among others. The key is to look for positions which will keep you active and busy. Otherwise, you might have a tendency to become bored with the humdrum atmosphere. Action is the key, and minute-to-minute changes will keep you fresh and in top form. Keywords: passion, speed, flight, activation. Reversed. Jealousy is in the air. A message you have been waiting to hear has not yet shown up. Do not become too bold or too courageous. Business slows down in your life, and your love life ends up at a standstill. Fascinating. Well, when I get the Eight of Wands reversed, I think of it more than anything as simply delays. Things, rather than moving quickly and swiftly, are now moving slowly and at a snail's pace, as they say. I can also, well, I would also sometimes think of it as like a lack of energy, perhaps, a lack of inspiration or motivation, that sort of thing. But now, let us look at a few websites and see what they have to say about the Eight of Wands. First up, as usual, is keen.com. Wow, it is taking some time to load. says it's almost there, though. Well, while this takes forever to load, I'll remind people that I do live tarot readings every Friday now at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on this channel. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you can come by and get a tarot reading. I do them on a pay-what-you-want basis. You can donate as little as $1, and I'll be happy to give you a tarot reading on any question of your choice, as long as it is ethical. All right, and this article has loaded. Do things seem to be speeding up in your life? Is there a sense of urgency to the daily proceedings? Are you headed toward a long-sought conclusion? Is a settlement about to appear in a long-running dispute? Have you gotten closer to your goal in the past week than in the past year? Are the flirtations of a friend or coworker suddenly more inviting? The Eight of Wands is the card the tarot delivers when your excitement over a positive turn of events is compressing time and making every moment heightened with anticipation. While some versions of this card may have a minuscule landscape across the bottom, the majority of them simply have an unimpeded sky blue background with 8 wooden walking sticks or wands splayed about the card. This is the rare tarot card with no people in it. There is no hint at anyone being there. Were the wands tossed? Are they being dropped? Or are they flying on a breeze? The lack of a person in a card is rare, but the lack of even the presence of someone is an even more rare tarot illustration. The only person associated with these wands is, in fact, you, the viewer of the card. Wands are the tarot deck's symbol of creativity, and you are looking at many creative possibilities all falling into place, just as you would like. This is a powerful omen. Use it to advance your standing in the world. So in the words of Otep, identify the signs, obey the omens. Meaning in past, present, and future positions. Every tarot reading involves the placement of some tarot cards into specific positions that make up a complete pattern. These positions represent your past, your present, and your future. Where one card lands establishes a meaning that would often be quite different were it to have landed in another position. Some cards in the deck are far more powerful in one of these positions than in others. As I must always say here with this website, not every kind of tarot spread has a past, present, future position. When the Eight of Wands is in the past position in your reading, you might be able to look back on a time when everything almost magically landed in the right position for you to take advantage of great opportunities. If this was the case, your reading wants you to take stock of how well you managed to do with the chances you were given. If you are in a good space and are getting this reading during a calm time in your life, the Eight of Wands in the past position indicates that when the universe worked in your favor a few months or years ago, you ran with it. You got ahead and made the most of the access you were granted, the favors that were bestowed, and the contacts that networking delivered. If the purpose of your tarot reading is because things are not going so well right now, the Eight of Wands in this position lets you know that you may have not made the most of the opportunities in your recent past. The Eight of Wands in the present position is an exciting place. Look around. This is a golden opportunity of a time for you. Things are going your way. Sometimes we are so used to plodding through oppositions and setbacks that making strides and fulfilling goals creates an anxiety because the familiarity of failure is replaced by a strange success. Are you getting a tarot reading because everything is going right in your life is producing a weird feeling? Or because the way it actually said that is because everything going right in your life is producing a weird feeling? In the future position in your reading, the Eight of Wands is a harbinger of opportunity. The tarot wants to assure you that big things are coming and that a vision you have for the way things should be might actually start to occur. Stay upbeat and look for signs that things are turning your way. When you see this action happening, put positive energy out there and let it return the amplified rewards of the universe to you. Card combinations. Every tarot reading is a grouping of cards that have individual meaning, yet the reading combines these meanings to give you the message of the tarot. When the Eight of Wands is in a reading with either the Strength card, number 8, or the Moon card, number 18, your reading is especially powerful as this Wands card is the lower echo of these two. When either appears in your reading, it emphasizes the need to follow your hunches on the appearance of opportunities. When another card with the number 8 in it appears in a reading with this card, the tarot indicates that you are winding things up in a dramatic fashion. When the 8 of Cups is present with this card in your reading, your love life is ending one cycle and beginning another. It may not be easy, but the big change is predestined and will culminate soon. An affair could be over. An engagement could become a marriage. When the 8 of Pentacles is in a reading with the 8 of Wands, you are absolutely on the right path, and the only thing holding you back from success could be the people in your life who will not leave you alone to follow your own hunches. The 8 of Swords coupling with this card means you are your own worst enemy when it comes to being held back from taking charge of your own destiny. Quit blaming others and unleash your inner strength. When the Wheel of Fortune is in a reading with the 8 of Wands, the chance that you might lose a recent victory becomes a distinct possibility. Are you willing to stand up and fight for what is rightfully yours? If your reading with the 8 of Wands card also features the Chariot card, you will be excited to find that a dream is coming true. You may have fantasized about a specific person as your possible soulmate and suddenly will discover that you were on a pedestal in his or her eyes as well. In conclusion, the tarot sends you the 8 of Wands when it is time to let the universe toss your creative abilities into the air and follow them to wherever they might land, making the most out of the energy they gather from the flight. Ah, well, isn't that beautiful? Okay, let's see. Next up is thetarotguide.com. It's a nice sunny afternoon out here, by the way. Seems strangely appropriate for the 8 of Wands, or the sort of fast, optimistic, more upbeat, inspired energy of the 8 of Wands. It's a nice, beautiful, sunny afternoon out. Although, now it gives me the option to show a simplified view. It didn't do that last week, but that's very nice because now I can read this site much better, much more easily. But I was going to say, but I hope no one is, or as few people as possible anyway, are doing any travel right now. With that connotation of this card, considering the COVID-19 spreading across the land like a demonic plague infecting people literally as we speak. Or at least I hope you're only doing travel if you absolutely must, if like your survival or someone and or that of someone else's and or that of someone else depends on it. 8 of Wands tarot card meaning: hastiness, speed, progress, movement, action, rushing, exciting times, travel, freedom, holiday romances, taking off, gaining momentum ahead, thinking on your feet, sudden action, hard work paying off, results, solutions, energetic, positive, infatuation, obsession, being swept off your feet, jumping in. Ooh, I have to say, yes. With the energy of the 8 of Wands, I really, really like that word momentum for this card, especially like fast momentum. So I would say keep that in mind for your understanding of the 8 of Wands. Momentum, momentum, momentum. What a magnificent word for this card. Look at this card and think momentum. So, all right, here we go. General meaning and interpretation upright. In a general context, the 8 of Wands represents hastiness, speed, rushing, progress, movement, and action. It is a minor arcana card of sudden action, excitement, exciting times, travel, freedom, holidays, and holiday romances. Whatever you turn your hand to at the moment will take off at great speed and gain momentum. You'll be feeling positive and energetic. You'll be thinking on your feet, seeing results and finding solutions. Your hard work will be paying off and you will be ahead of the game. The 8 of Wands also represents infatuation, obsession, and getting carried away or being swept off your feet. All right, I apologize, but I suddenly need a Kleenex very badly, so one moment, please. Okay. Now that that little need is taken care of. Sometimes my allergies just get irritating. Apparently, it's a sign of resistance, but I guess I've got resistance to work on, but that was no mystery to me previously. All right. Love and relationships when upright. In a love tarot spread, if you're in a relationship, the Eight of Wands is a good omen indicating progress, exciting times, infatuation, and being swept off your feet. It says of your feet, but it's a typo. These sites and their typos. Being swept off your feet. Whether the relationship is new or you've been together for years, this minor arcana card brings a rush of love, excitement, sex, and passion. It is a sign of the relationship moving forward at great speed and you and your partner jumping in with both feet. If you are single, the Eight of Wands signifies meeting someone who will sweep you off your feet. You may become infatuated or obsessed with this person, and the romance will take off quickly. It can also represent a holiday romance or meeting someone while traveling. How delightful is that? In a career tarot spread, the Eight of Wands can represent work-related travel or things taking off at a great speed. I think it is meant to say. We have yet another typo. You may find yourself going places in the physical sense of attending meetings or overseas conferences, or you may find your career is going places. There is a sense of speed and energy with this card, so expect a fast-paced, high-energy work environment when it appears. If you are in business, a new venture could take off much sooner than you thought it would. However, this minor arcana card can also signify hastiness, so be careful not to jump into things without researching them. You may need to be patient and allow situations to play out a bit longer before you take action. In a financial tarot reading, the Eight of Wands represents a lot of movement in your finances, so you may have your finger in a lot of pies or a lot of money coming in and out when it appears in your tarot spread. Just remember, this card also warns you not to be too hasty, so avoid high-risk investments and overspending when it appears. There is no need to rush, even though you might feel like your money is burning a hole in your pocket. Health, upright. In a health tarot reading, the Eight of Wands can represent a rapid recovery from an injury or illness. It can also represent being very physically active or seeing a newly implemented diet or exercise regime produce results quickly. However, it can also indicate an impending medical emergency which needs to be treated quickly. I would also be tempted to associate the Eight of Wands in a health sense simply with vitality. Spirituality, upright. In a spiritual context, the Eight of Wands indicates that you should be experiencing a big upswing in your positive energy. Yet again, we had a typo. If you have been trying to develop your psychic or healing abilities, you should find yourself gaining momentum and progressing quickly. Reversed meaning guide. Eight of Wands reversed tarot card key meanings. Slowness, lack of speed / movement / action / results. Slow progress, delayed, canceled, returning from travel or holidays. Restriction, bad timing, losing momentum, missed opportunities, late start, unfinished business, lack of energy, negativity, lack of romance, panicked, hysterical, impatient, impulsive, out of control. General meaning and interpretation, reversed. In a general context, the Eight of Wands reversed represents slowness, slow progress, and lack of speed, movement, or action. When reversed, it is a minor arcana card of restriction, returning from travels or delayed or canceled travel or holidays. It can signify late starts, bad timing, losing momentum, missed opportunities, and unfinished business. Whatever you turn your hand to at the moment probably won't work out the way you want it to. You may be feeling negativity or a lack of energy when it appears in your tarot reading. The Eight of Wands reversed also represents being hysterical, impatient, impulsive, and panicked or out of control. It can represent dislike or a lack of passion, excitement, or romance. It can also signify being grounded. I would also theorize that in some situations, the Eight of Wands reversed might be a message from the universe for us just to slow down. like saying we're already moving too fast and we need to slow down. Love and relationships reversed. In a love tarot spread, if you're in a relationship, the Eight of Wands reversed is not a good omen, indicating a lack of progress or slow progress, lack of romance in a relationship losing its momentum. Whether the relationship is new or you've been together for years, this minor arcana card reversed can represent a lack of energy, excitement, sex, or passion. It is a sign that the relationship is not moving forward at the speed you or your partner would like it to, as one or both of you is hesitating. If you are single, the Eight of Wands reversed indicates that you may meet someone whom you will initially be infatuated or obsessed with, but the relationship will turn sour and you will soon begin to dislike this person intensely. If you've had a holiday romance, reality will kick in and you'll wonder what you saw in them. Money and career reversed. In a career tarot spread, the Eight of Wands reversed can represent things taking off too quickly or not quick enough and canceled travel. You may find meetings or overseas conferences are canceled or that your career is just not progressing at the rate you hoped it would. You may be experiencing setbacks, cutbacks, or lack of opportunities for promotion. Alternatively, you may find your career has taken off far too rapidly and you are struggling to keep up with your workload. If you're in business, a venture could be failing to take off or taking off very slowly. Alternatively, you may have so much interest that you cannot keep up with demand. However, this minor arcana card can also signify poor timing and missed opportunities, so you may be waiting too long to take action. In a financial tarot reading, the Eight of Wands reversed represents slow progress in your finances. You may feel like you are not making money quickly enough and it's taking you ages to save for things or reach the level of financial security you desire. Try to have some patience. These things take time. It can also indicate being extremely impulsive with money. Remember, a fool and their money is easily parted. But with today being April Fool's Day, let us also remember that the fool who persists in his folly eventually becomes wise. Health reversed. In a health tarot reading, the Eight of Wands reversed can represent a slow recovery from an injury/illness or health suddenly taking a nosedive. It can also represent being inactive or too active, leading to fatigue or a newly implemented diet or exercise regime not producing results as quickly as you hoped. It can also signify an illness aggressively taking hold. Spirituality reversed. In a spiritual context, the Eight of Wands reversed indicates that you may be experiencing a lack of energy or being affected by negative energy when it appears. If you have been trying to develop your psychic or healing abilities, you find that things are not progressing as quickly as you would like. Remember that these abilities will develop at the pace they are meant to. Try to relax and enjoy the journey. You will get there. All right, so that is what we have for that site. Next up is trustedtarot.com. The tarot that you can trust. Eight of Wands. Hasty actions, journey and travel. A journey or flight, motion, end to a delay. Eight of Wands meaning. Prepare yourself for an abrupt increase in the pace of your life. Things are about to get very busy. The good news is that any projects you begin will progress quickly. You will experience few delays, and the conclusion is likely to be successful. This card is also good news for relationships, although it raises the possibility of needing to travel for relationships. All things considered, this is a good card to find in your spread, as long as you are willing to buckle down and get to work. Past. There are past goals that will not be able to move you forward. Think of a change that will bring you the most happiness. The struggle which has been occupying you will pass, and a brief peace will follow. Present. Exciting news will arrive to break the calmness of your present. The discomfort is necessary to remove you from your motionless present. Future. A new venture will bring you future success, but you must be ready to make the right choice in a sudden decision. Yes, no key interpretation. The Eight of Wands stands for some sort of journey or travel. It suggests events that will move quickly and opportunities that are set to arrive unpredictably. While overcoming obstacles, it shows an end to some sort of delay or blockage in your life. The answer to your question is most likely yes. Key dates, timing in astrology, sign Sagittarius, key dates November 23rd to December 2nd. All right. There you have it for that site. All right, so let's look now a little more closely at the Thoth version of the card specifically. tarotx.net. Let's see if this would be an ideal site to analyze. Actually, no, I think this is... Pretty sure this is the site that last week we found sort of plagiarized the book I have on tarot, which I meant to grab and have by my side before we began this, but it's fine. It's just right over there. I can go grab it when we get to that part. All right, let's instead go then to Corax.com. All right, here we go. Eight of Wands, Swiftness. Tree of Life, Hod through Fire. Astrology, Mercury in the first decan of Sagittarius. With the Eight of Wands, the element of fire enters Hod, the realm of intellect and logic, ruled by Mercury, thus an area much to its delight. Swiftness is what is demanded in here. Decisive action in high-speed modus. The card can stand for sudden realizations, quick brainwaves. It can tell that the solution for a problem is already there or soon to come. It also reminds us that the spirit needs freedom to fly, for otherwise it won't work at its best. The shadow side of the card can mean that we waste too much time with disputing and all kinds of tidbits, instead of moving quick and decisively. In another aspect, of course, the size of the dose, what is this site trying to say? The size of the dose that makes up the poison effective. I think it's trying to say it is the size of the dose that makes the poison effective. If we rush it too much, we'll end up with a mass of particles that won't do us any good. Drive. Excessive force applied to suddenly, very rapid rush, violent but not lasting. Light. Progression, ideas, creativity, motion, changes, development. Shadow. Rash, thoughtlessness, rapacious, insolent, jealousy. All right, so that is what we have there. Next up is angelpaths.com. Continuing to look more at the Eight of Wands Thoth version of the card specifically. The Eight of Wands. The Lord of Swiftness is a bright, active card which comes up to mark periods of rapid, clear communication. This card will often represent the type of cathartic discussion which resolves misunderstanding and ends confusion. When passing through an event which is signposted by the Eight of Wands, there's often a feeling of quick-moving energy and a sense that obstacles are being swept out of your path. There's an important aspect of this card that is often overlooked, its spiritual interpretation. It can indicate the kind of direct divine instructions that causes a complete transformation, like a bolt of celestial power striking and infusing you. It provokes a sudden opening of the ways, a new level of understanding and spiritual expansion. Look for cards like the Star, the Priestess, or the Hierophant close by in order to identify this not-to-be-missed effect. The Eight of Wands always brings a new surge of energy and freshness when it appears, and it often signals entry into a new phase or project, which stands a good chance of success. Confirm with good disc cards nearby or fortune. This is a happy and generous card, promising a progressive phase which may herald success and satisfaction. The nicest aspect of the Lord of Swiftness is the part which indicates rewarding communication where old enmities can be resolved, where we can blow away the cobwebs from our pain and heal old wounds. Those thorny situations where somebody gets hold of the wrong end of the stick and takes offense will often yield to the clarity this card brings in. There's just one warning. Well, didn't there have to be? This is big, bursting energy. It's as well to keep your balance firmly in the center of your being. That way, you won't get swept away by it. And the site has a link called Working with the Eight of Wands with additional information. And it says, when the Lord of Swiftness comes up in a reading, it shows that there is an energy available which will break down obstacles and move restrictions and allow the free flow of power in any situation you direct it toward. Often there will have been problems which refuse to yield to any reasonable solution previously attempted. However, on a day ruled by the Eight of Wands, even the most intractable and stubborn difficulties will simply fall away when the downrush of power is felt from this card. Accordingly, on an Eight of Wands day, go looking for problems. Try to locate those things, whether major or minor, that have refused resolution till now. When you find something that seems applicable, sit down for a few minutes and mentally walk around the obstacle, trying to get a new perspective on it. I would say that's especially appropriate with the card's astrological correspondence of Mercury and Sagittarius, as Mercury, being the creative genius that it is, loves to solve problems. This thinking period is important because when this card rules, there is rapid and swift communication, either intuitively or in real terms, which allows you to see a way through the maze of complications that can build up around the most mundane of tasks. Expect during your period of contemplation to see new possibilities for solving the problem. Wait for the out-of-the-blue thought that strikes you as though from nowhere. When you discover it, try it out, no matter how outlandish it may at first appear. Be open to what life tells you, not as a result of seeking advice, but as a spontaneous offering from the people around you. When we leave ourselves open for the universe to convey its thoughts to us, they can arrive from the most unexpected sources. Be prepared to consider any options offered to you obliquely. Don't take them at face value. Try to turn them into applications for the matter you are attempting to resolve. And allow your sense of humor full reign. You need a light-hearted attitude to get the best out of this card. You'll be amazed at the things you will get done on a day ruled by the Lord of Swiftness. Affirmation: challenges and obstacles are achievements waiting to happen. All right, that is some good stuff. Now, let's go to biddytarot.com and their article on the Eight of Wands, and then we're going to start looking into some books. Eight of Wands tarot card meanings. Eight of Wands keywords: upright, movement, fast-paced change, action, alignment, air travel. Reversed: delays, frustration, resisting change, internal alignment. Eight of Wands description. The Eight of Wands shows 8 sprouting wands sailing through the air at high speed. Their flight suggests change, movement, and travel. The sky is clear and the beautiful river is flowing freely and giving life to the surrounding landscape. Upright Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands says the struggles of the Seven of Wands have now all but cleared and you have the freedom and space to move forward with your plans once again. This Eight is a dynamic card, containing a high level of energy that propels you forward to reach your goals at a much faster pace than ever before. You can expect to be very busy, but this is one of those good busy periods during which you are enthusiastic about the progress you are making. The Eight of Wands encourages you to go with the flow. Don't resist it. Everything is moving fast right now, so make the most of this forward momentum to manifest your goals and dreams. Allow the energy of the universe to flow through you and propel you closer to your goal. Trying to slow things down because you're not ready or you're fearful about the unknown will just waste this opportunity. Use the energy instead to fuel positive change and produce significant results. It reminds me a lot of exposure therapy, actually, particularly when it comes to curing or trying to help cure yourself of things like anxiety. This energy of pushing yourself sort of quickly and in the moment to do the thing that you're afraid to do, because in doing so, you show yourself that it is not to be feared. You sort of reprogram your brain. So I don't know if that should directly be associated with this card, but it reminds me of that sort of fast-paced, in the now energy. The Eight of Wands also invites you to be laser focused with your intentions and actions. Determine what you want to manifest and then align all of your resources and energy to focus on that singular goal. Remove all distractions and devote yourself to the task with total concentration, determination, and will. This experience can be highly productive, allowing you to accomplish a lot in a short time. With the Eight of Wands, you can look forward to the rapid completion of a project currently underway, but you can also expect to be occupied by something new and even more exciting soon. There is no stopping you right now, as you are just bursting with energy and ideas, and you cannot wait to achieve one task and start another. To maximize this energy, make sure your activities align with your broader goals and invest in the right things at the right time. Also, make sure your previous task is complete before you move on to the next one. This card is assigned to strike while the iron is hot. It is most definitely an action-oriented card that encourages you to move quickly to pursue the best opportunities available. There is no waiting around while the Eight of Wands is present, so determine where your energy should go and get on with it. Often, the Eight of Wands suggests air travel, a short-term or whirlwind trip, such as a business trip or a holiday. You may even enjoy being part of a tour group that visits 10 countries in as many days. Reversed Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands reverse suggests that you are charging ahead with an idea or plan, but you need to slow down and consider your next steps before continuing. So I mentioned that earlier as sort of something I thought of almost intuitively, and now this site is confirming that. Interesting. You may miss something in your haste and be prone to making mistakes or poor decisions. Or you may rush into things without a clear plan of where you are heading instead of investing time into trivial tasks. Be careful of the bright, shiny object syndrome, where just as you get started on implementing one idea, another one comes to mind, and you switch your focus. The trouble is that with this approach, you never accomplish anything because you are jumping from one idea to the next and finishing none of them. The Eight of Wands reverse can warn that you are resisting change, trying to stop the flow of energy and movement. It will only make things harder, so let go and be in the flow. If you have been feeling stuck, do things differently, new routines, locations, activities, and get the energy moving once again. The reversed Eight of Wands can mark significant delays, particularly concerning travel or fast-moving plans. Despite having a lot of energy and enthusiasm to progress things forward, you now face multiple obstacles in your course. This is incredibly frustrating, and you may be growing increasingly impatient by the day. Keep looking for alternative ways around the challenges presented so you can carry out your plans. If it's Mercury retrograde, expect your plans to be fully delayed. Similarly, this card can be assigned to hold off your activities for a short amount of time until the situation becomes more stable and predictable. On the other hand, the reversed Eight of Wands may be a sign that you are aligning your resources so you can actively pursue your goal. You are getting your life in order, physical health, emotional well-being, energy levels, or spirituality, so that you are in an excellent position to move forward with your plans. All right, so that concludes that site. All right, so I cannot actually quite recall the exact order that we went in last week for the various tarot books that we looked at, but I think a great place to start is with the one that I have physically on the Crowley Thoth Tarot specifically. Which is right here. The Crowley Tarot by Akron and Heyo Banzaf. All right, so let's do this in such a way as to hopefully maintain the audio quality. Eight of Wands, Swiftness, the flames of thoughts. Instinct, ideas, movement, and quick communication. Goal, knowledge, progress, development, new paths, or digesting and or processing old goals, problem solving. Light, flexibility, expansion, intellectual power. Shadow, vehemence, hastiness, superficiality. Quality, unexpected impulse, mental activity. The card shows that the 8 wands have transformed themselves into brainwaves. They originate in the striving for freedom inherent in everything related to thinking, the urge for insight into the true course of things. It stands for overcoming the difficulties of the previous card, 7 of Wands. Crowley speaks of, quote, the wands turned into electrical rays, sustaining or even constituting matter by their vibrating energy, end quote. The two-dimensional square as a symbol for limitation gives way here to the three-dimensional octahedron, symbolizing the middle point between the earthly square, cube, and the divine circle, sphere. Above this body, there radiates a rainbow symbolic of the spiritualization of fire. Energetically, the 8 of Wands represents energy at the speed of light. Mercury in Sagittarius also symbolizes the phenomenon of cerebration, memory formation, which is of a bioelectrical and biochemical nature. The quick exchange runs through electrical impulses, chemically transmissive materials within the nerve cells of the brain. Crowley associates this card with the phenomena of speech, light, and electricity. Mercury rules the 8 of Wands and thereby expresses development and progress. This might be a bit tricky to read this and stay like on camera at the same time, but here we go. On the inner level, this card shows that sudden ideas and flashes of inspiration explode our previous habits of thought, and we therefore achieve the solutions that were possibly always close at hand. We just did not recognize the connection between them. It then signifies a period of time which we should use in order to overcome the narrowness of fixed concepts and to attain new intellectual horizons. In the professional experience, the creative release of the fire element wands through thinking Mercury means that we are inundated with ideas. At the same time, it is our task to form them into a systematic, creative whole and let them become reality, which then leads to success, new assignments, and recognition, promotion. In the life of our relationships, the 8 of Wands is a symbol for the flames of passion as they flicker in desire for the object of their longing. They therefore represent effusive phases, euphoria, and enthusiasm in the relationship. It can, however, also be a herald of solutions for overcoming old conflicts and rigid fronts. Astrology, Mercury in Sagittarius, Tree of Life, Hod, structure through fire, the electrical vibrations light as the measurement of time, Yi King, 35 Chin, progress. Analogies, Hermes, Icarus, Pegasus, Prometheus. On the historical level, Archimedes, Eureka, I found it. Image, lightning as a symbol of the electrifying idea. Keywords, spontaneity, versatility, thirst for knowledge, determination. All right, very interesting. So let's see next. Let us look at, how about Path of the Fool by Michael Tessarion. See what information we can get from that. Eight of Wands. Extroversion, action, haste, swiftness, rapid change of pace, quick change of direction, busy schedule, enthusiasm, great energy and vitality, strong motivation, productivity, accomplishment, success, rapid results, competition, intense effort, short-term goals, working against the clock, little time to prepare, brainstorming, inspiration, pushing to the limit, overcoming obstacles, readiness, willpower, travel. And so here we do have my theory of vitality confirmed in this book. Vitality being associated with this card, the Eight of Wands, where it says great energy and vitality. I knew I was onto something with that. All right. Negative. Danger, recklessness, impulsiveness, hyper extroversion, meddlesome, frantic action, unnecessary exertion, anger, aggression, violence, spite, vindictiveness, competitiveness, excessive ambition, ego battles, fights, conflicts, disagreements, rocking the boat, causing unnecessary panic, forcing issues, negative influence, manipulation, connivance, false information, mania, damage, accident, attack, breakdown, crime, immorality, insanity, war, evil, dangerous sports and games, weapons. Wow. So those are all things that this card can mean in a negative sense when upright, not even when reversed. But now, reversed. Apathy, weakness, slowness, procrastination, progress halted, holding back, causing resistance, losing ground, losing during a competition, poor work ethics, useless products, bad timing, ineptitude, no progress, living in the past, immaturity, irrationality, subjectivism, solipsism, unnecessary fear, insurmountable obstacles, working against great difficulties, setbacks, progress retarded, suspensions, plans thwarted or outwitted, last-minute doubts, arrested maturity, imposed limits, narrow parameters, impossible working conditions, limited rewards, partial successes, failure, loss of confidence, being outdone and undermined, expectations dashed, light extinguished, fame lost. Wow, all right. So next, let us look at 78 degrees of wisdom. Soon as it wants to load for us. Okay, here we go. 8. Fire implies swiftness and movement. Though this movement sometimes lacks direction, we see here the image of a journey reaching an end, or things completed. When the fire finds its goal, the projects and situations come to a satisfactory end. The wands have come to earth. Therefore, the image on this card implies the addition of pentacles grounding to the wands. That's interesting. So this book is, I think, perhaps then more strongly suggesting the connotation of endings to this card, the Eight of Wands, saying that the movement is actually coming to an end. Interesting. Romantically, Waite calls them the arrows of love. Okay, so there's that I briefly mentioned earlier. We can see this especially as meaning action taken in a love affair, seduction, or proposals made and accepted. Reversed. Turned around, the image becomes one of continuance. Why can't I say that word? The image becomes one of continuance, of nothing coming to an end, especially when an end is desired. A situation or attitude simply goes on and on with no conclusion in sight. If a situation cannot be avoided, then it is good to recognize it and accept it, rather than let it bring frustration or disappointment. On the other hand, sometimes we ourselves can bring about this up in the air quality by expecting a situation to remain unresolved. One of the most important positions in a reading is that called hopes and fears. Very often, it turns out to be a self fulfilling prophecy. The arrows of love, when reversed, become arrows of jealousy and argument. The jealousy may derive from uncertainty and confusion, both in our feelings and in those of the other person. Huh. Isn't that interesting? So, in that context, see, earlier when we came across this idea of the Eight of Wands reverse meaning jealousy, I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, oh, never, like, where are they getting that from? But um, I now must admit, in that context, with the upright um, meaning of the card in a love type reading, so often being the arrows of love and things like moving quickly like that or whatever, it makes a lot more sense that when the Eight of Wands then is reversed, that those arrows of love turn into arrows of jealousy and or argument, because of course a reversal is always twisting the energy in some way or blocking it partially or something like that. All right, and then that is all we have for that particular source. Okay, so now, speaking of reversals, let us look in the complete book of tarot reversals. So I pull it up on my screen here. Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is often called the falling in love card, while the Golden Dawn called it swiftness. You can think of it as being swept off your feet by infatuation, great ideas, or enthusiasms, carried away with your desires as if in an adrenaline rush. Activities and energies are mobilized and speeded up. This card can indicate business dealings and rapid communications by phone, internet, or express mail. It could be air travel, maneuvers, a race, or any kind of rapid advancement toward a goal. As shown in the RWS card with its arrows of love, everything is up in the air, albeit neatly in parallel lines. You may be systematizing, ordering, aligning, or streamlining processes. In the world of ideas, you could be working independently, yet along the same lines as others, as when several people make discoveries simultaneously. It usually indicates that progress is being made, although there is a danger of too much haste. Be willing to go with the flow. You might become aware of synchronicities or serendipitous encounters confirming you are moving in the right direction. On the other hand, this card can suggest you are experiencing the frenetic energy such as that found at a fair or amusement park. Traditional upright meanings: country living or outing, agriculture, cultivation, garden, field, woods, journey, recreation, pastimes, festivities, great activity, calm, tranquility, arousal of love, luck, hasty developments, commercial transactions, progress, direction. All right, so I always try to avoid doing this too much, but I do need to take a break real quick. So I'll be back in about 1 minute. Okay, and I am back with a vengeance. Let us resume our study of the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands reversed. The wands and the Eight of Wands reversed seem to bar the way or are being waved about so that you could run headlong into problems. Accord falls into dispute. Infatuation becomes jealousy or rivalry. Your emotions run amok. You might fall out of love. You could be overly impulsive or caught in a volatile and repetitive pattern. Sorry, I can't get my chair to be just where I want it to be. Okay. There can be disagreements and quarrels. Arousal reaches the point of excess and may leap out of control. A third party could cause upsets in your love life. Communications go astray to the wrong person. Energy is wasted and efforts go for naught. Perhaps you are rushing around at the last minute when a burst of little things goes wrong. In excess, it could lead to hysteria or panic. The card can also suggest nonconformity, incompatibility, irregularity, or something mismatched. On the other hand, there could be a strike or slowdown, the usual reverse delays and cancellations. Plans and inspirations may dissipate. Alternatively, this card takes the limits off what is possible so that you are now free of restraints. Instead of coming to earth, the movement seems to be upward so that you are breaking through to a new level of experience. For one querent who had been separated from her husband for 3 years, this represented the point at which she stopped wavering, Two of Pentacles, and filed for divorce. All qualms disappeared as she freed herself from self-imposed restraints to emancipate herself. If projected onto others, you might see them as causing disruptions or problems through being too hasty. Health-wise, this represents the functioning of hormones, adrenaline, and other body, mind, and mood-altering chemicals in the body. From the shamanic and magical perspective, this is an explosion of vital life force energy. In terms of the rapid movement, it can represent the witch's broomstick and the ability to fly or astral travel. Traditional reverse meanings: quarrels, domestic disputes, discord, arrows of jealousy, internal dispute, stings of conscience, household disharmony, marital upsets caused by a third party, setback, stoppage, strike, regrets, remorse, scruples. All right, so that is what we have there. Let us now look at Crowley's Book of Thoth, which, wait, why am I reaching for my tablet? That too is on my computer. I was thinking it was on my tablet for some reason. And also, why the hell do I not have it open already? It's very strange. Did we like forget to look at the Book of Thoth last week? Did we run out of time? I can't even remember. Of course, I'm waiting for my computer to find it in a search, and doesn't want to find it. Oh, come on. Maybe I can get it faster by looking at the recently accessed documents in Adobe Acrobat Reader. Nope, it's not there either. What the actual fuck? All right, well, 1 minute or 1 moment, dear viewers. This is going to take some searching. Go directly to my research material. I shall go to the tarot folder. We shall look for the Book of Thoth. Where is it located at? There it is. Let me just find the Eight of Wands. This is weird. Wait. Okay, I think I found it. All right, well, whatever. This is even the version of Book of Thoth I was using before. I don't know, but it appears to have the right information for us. So, without further ado, Swiftness, Eight of Wands. The remaining 3 cards of the suit belong to Sagittarius, which represents the subtilizing of the fiery energy, and Mercury rules the card, thus bringing down from Chokmah the message of the original will. The card also refers to Hod, splendor, in the suit of fire, whence it refers to the phenomena of speech, light, electricity. The pictorial representation of the card shows the light wands turned into electrical rays, sustaining or even constituting matter by their vibrating energy. Above this restored universe shines the rainbow, the division of pure light, which deals with maxima into the 7 colors of the spectrum, which exhibit interplay and correlation. This card, therefore, represents energy of high velocity, such as furnishes the master key to modern mathematical physics. Such as furnishes the master key to modern mathematical physics. Okay, I could not figure out what the hell that was supposed to mean. So just to read that again for clarity, this card therefore represents energy of high velocity, such as furnishes the master key to modern mathematical physics. It will be noted that there are no flames. They have all been taken up into the wands to turn them into rays. On the other hand, the electrical energy has created intelligible geometrical form. Yes, and so you can see that here again in the card itself. As Crowley said, there are no flames. They have all been taken up into the wands to turn them into rays. On the other hand, the electrical energy has created intelligible geometrical form. So, all right, cool. So now, as we are an hour and a half in and have about a half hour left, let us really dive into the depths of this card by going through esotericmeanings.com. And so I guess this is sort of our grand finale these days, since this is probably the deepest and most thorough source on the tarot cards that I've ever come across. So it is appropriate to save it for the end. All right, so let it load. All right, Eight of Wands Thoth Tarot Card Tutorial. This person's YouTube channel is called Thoth Tarot Videos, so check that out if you're interested. Thoth, Eight of Wands. In the Eight of Wands, 2 overlapping pyramids form a shape of 8 points. There are no wands in this card. They have all turned into electrical rays. The rays emanate from the center of the figure and pass through the corners of the pyramid, terminating in arrowheads. This is the only card in the suit in which flames are not present. Rider Waite, 8 of Wands. 8 wands moving in groups from left to right. They are not yet touching the ground, but move through a clear sky unobstructed. Numerology of the 8 of Wands. The 8 is represented by the cube in that it has 8 corners and vertices. The number 8 represents the octad and is assigned the element of earth by Plato and therefore implies manifestation in the tarot. So first of all, go ahead and burn and observe the cube. And now, as we look at this idea of, let's see, the number 8 represents the octad, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting. So, as it shows here, and I'll show this in a moment, we have the tetrahedron, which is fire. We have the octahedron, air, the icosahedron, water, and the cube, earth. So you can see those right there. It is associated with material success, but one that is an end in itself. Just as the cube is stable and does not move easily, so the success is static rather than dynamic. This is borne out in some of the tarot suits, but not others. Other factors, such as astrology, can also have a bearing of the meaning of the card, especially in the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands, the Tree of Life, and 4 Worlds. The Tree of Life. The 8 of Wands is associated with the 8th Sephiroth Hod, which is a reflection of Chesed. Both are builders of form. Hod is the constructor of things like the Magus of the major arcana, and both are ruled by Mercury. Crowley says that Hod is the reaction to the quote-unquote mischief of Netzach, Hod representing the will, whereas Netzach represents emotions and feelings. Ideally, a blend of the two is necessary for the best outcome. We fuse the love of Netzach, ruled by Venus, with the will of Hod, ruled by Mercury, to create balanced action. Hod is named glory or splendor, which represents the glory of God manifesting into form and the awareness of spirit in human consciousness. So you can see it indicated here on the diagram in the Tree of Life. The 4 Worlds. Wait a second. Why do I feel like we're missing something? No, we aren't. Okay. Atziluth is the first and highest of the 4 worlds, representing the creative spirit or inspiration. Hod is low down on the Tree of Life and is ruled by Mercury, as is the first decan of Sagittarius, which the 8 of Wands corresponds to. So in this card, we have a double impact of Mercury. Being in the world of inspiration, Atziluth, our ideas may well not be grounded in reality, and with Hod being low down on the Tree of Life, miscommunication can be a problem. Huh, isn't that interesting? And recall what I said earlier about Mercury not doing so well in Sagittarius to begin with. And indeed, yeah, if there's ever going to be a configuration where ideas are not grounded in reality, well, second only perhaps to Mercury in Pisces, we would have Mercury in Sagittarius. Again, don't take that too literally. to mean that anyone who has that configuration natally is like, oh, so destined to be like that. It just doesn't work like that. Astrology doesn't work like that. Reality doesn't work like that. So here we have the demonstration of Hod and Atziluth, or the diagram, perhaps I should say. Speaking of which, astrology of the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is associated with the first decan of Sagittarius, 0 to 10 degrees, which is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in detriment in Sagittarius. That's what it is, not fall, but detriment. I knew it was one of the two. It's in detriment in Sagittarius and thus in its lowest potency in there. This is because Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini, where it is at home and is therefore furthest away, 180 degrees in Sagittarius. Well, technically, it also rules Virgo, but I think Virgo is simultaneously the sign of Mercury's exaltation, if I'm not mistaken. So some more diagrams here. You can see the Eight of Wands card correspondent to that particular decan. And you can see also, fuck my life, hang on. On this diagram, it's actually, what is this diagram trying to show? It's showing the Gemini Sagittarius sort of counterbalance or whatever, but I don't know, it seems to be trying to show multiple things at once. For some reason, they're wanting to emphasize this time Mercury being in its detriment and how it's 180 degrees. So they're inserting this like green line highlighting that, but I'll just show it. Now, why is it not focusing for us? There we go. Mercury is the planet of communication, and Sagittarius is associated with the swiftness of the arrow. Let me show this little picture. Jeez, if it'll even display properly. I pulled it up individually to try to make it clearer, and I think I just made it worse because of the way the camera is focusing here. Well, I guess it's not going to focus for us. This combination produces a restless intellect. Learning is best when you are given the freedom to think for yourself, when you are truly interested in the topic at hand. A restless intellect, huh? Try that again. Good enough. All right. Symbolism of the Eight of Wands. Rays, replacing flames seen in the rest of the wand's suit. They are impulses of electricity, and so we have the idea of swift impulses tying in with the characteristics of Sagittarius. They are also associated with rays of light. Their vibration produces matter. Quote, the pictorial representation of this card shows the light wands turned into electrical rays, sustaining or even constituting matter by their vibrational energy, end quote. Book of Thoth, page 193. Geometrical figure. Two overlapping pyramids forming an 8-pointed shape symbolic of the Sephiroth Hod, the 8th Sephiroth. Which you can, of course, see there in the card itself. Quote, electric energy has created intelligible form. Book of Thoth, page 193. Hod is also ruled by Mercury, so the energy of this planet is very strong in this card. Therefore, communication and swift action is important to the card's meaning. So that's another thing to consider then with the Eight of Wands card when interpreting it from here on out, for all students of tarot that see this, is this idea of communication, not just swiftness or swift action, but communication as well. All right, so then looking at the rainbow, the division of pure light into the 7 colors symbolizing the interplay of forces making up the multitude of forms of the visible universe. Quote, above this restored universe shines the rainbow, the division of pure light, which deals with maxima into the 7 colors of the spectrum, which exhibit interplay and correlation. Book of Thoth, page 193. Another way of expressing the above is through the prism analogy. From God, oneness, to creation, color. Creation exists as there's interplay between the different parts or colors. Okay, and you can see that right here. Seven to Eight of Wands transition. The testing times of the Seven of Wands has given way to inspiration in the Eight of Wands in the form of our ability to communicate with others and gaining fresh insights into overcoming obstacles. In this step, we have earned success, but it is more an end in itself and possibly short-lived. With Mercury in Sagittarius, there is bound to be instability in the future with so much energy being applied at once. In this step, we have earned success, but it is more an end in itself and possibly short-lived. Interesting. All right. Shemhamphoresh angels and the Eight of Wands. Nithhaya, mastery of spiritual forces, white magic for well-being of others, facilitates visions. Haea, adaptability, scientific and political attitudes in regards to divine science, seeks truth through reason. When negative, desire for earthly power, poor consequences. Divinatory meaning of the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands upright. A flash of spiritual insight, light rays, manifesting something which is going to be tangible in our life, geometric form. A situation has arisen in which you may need to act quickly to seize the opportunity presented. Go with the flow, like the light rays, and don't resist. By overthinking, you will put obstacles in the way of moving forward with your life at this time. The need for clear communication at this time to create the things that we want. Manifested rainbow / geometrical shape. The card symbolizes the spiritualization of the fiery energy of Sagittarius. So drawing this card implies that we need to make sure we are communicating with others in the clearest way possible and are manifesting things in our world for the highest good. The rapid completion of a project that is currently underway. You are bursting with energy and ideas and cannot wait to achieve one task in order to start another. Make sure that before you move to the next task, your previous task is complete. Pretty sure we came across those exact same words in a previous source today, but I'm not sure where. This is an action-oriented card that encourages you to move quickly to pursue the best opportunities available right now. There is no waiting around while the Eight of Wands is present, so focus your energy to that which is most important at this time. Yes, we did come across those exact words. Eight of Wands reversed. Impulsive idea or actions, charging ahead without any thought out plan. Resisting change and not going with the flow. Too many ideas at once and not grounding any. Procrastination, not taking action when it is needed. Obstacles that get in the way of your plans for the future. Poor communication, so your plans go to waste. Ideas that are not practical or realistically achievable. Eight of Wands and the Celtic cross spread. So, as usual, we now get to the part where it shows what the card, the Eight of Wands, may mean when it shows up in various positions of the Celtic cross spread. If it shows up as card 1, the heart of your situation, it may mean a situation has arisen in which you may need to act quickly to seize the opportunity presented. If it shows up as card 2, obstacles/challenges, a lack of communication or acting in haste are obstacles in your way. If it shows up as card 3, subconscious influences, resisting change, not going with the flow when opportunities arise. If it shows up as card 4, your recent past affecting a situation, it may mean you have had insights which have greatly benefited your life, so take confidence that you have the skills to do it again. If it shows up as card 5, your hopes and goals, it may mean to live life feeling more spiritually inspired. If it shows up as card 6, your immediate future, clear communication is needed. If it shows up as card 7, how you are handling the situation, you have lots of ideas and you need to ground one into reality so it becomes integrated into your life. If it shows up as card 8, your external environment, if reversed, it says, obstacles are getting in the way of your plans to improve your life. This could be a work situation. If it shows up as card 9, guidance and warning, don't have too many goals at once. Work on one and take time to see it to fruition without rushing. If in a relationship setting, clear communication is needed. Just go with the flow without rushing things. If it shows up as card 10, your overall outcome, going with the flow of life and seeing your spirituality integrate into your life, giving you harmony and inspiration. All right, and that is it for that website. So, that would normally be it for our analysis of this card, but we do have about 9 minutes left. So, why don't we look in this other book of tarot reversals that we came across last week. See if we can find the Eight of Wands in that. We can take a quick look at that, and then that'll be it for the day. Okay, here we go. Eight of Wands. Interpreting the Eight of Wands by comparison is relatively easy. Upright, the Eight of Wands is all about speedy movement ahead. Things fall into place, and there is a fast climbing of the ladder as well as a burst of energy. Block this, And we get sluggishness, lack of energy, slowness. This is both without and within. Without, things take longer than they should. There are delays. Within, the person feels tired, unmotivated. That's all it has to say about the Eight of Wands. So let's see, who is this book actually by? Because I always want to give credit, at least from time to time. It says Eclectic Tarot presents 13's Tarot Reversals. So I guess that's what we have. Let's see. All right, so that was the brief blurb from that book. We still have some time, so let's see what else we can find out about this card while we have a bit. Let's search for it online again and see what comes up. Labyrinthos.co. Don't believe we've been there yet today. Eight of Wands meaning, tarot card meanings. Eight of Wands keywords, upright keywords. Movement, speed, progress, quick decisions, sudden changes, excitement. Reverse keywords, waiting, slowness, chaos, delays, losing momentum, hastiness, being unprepared. The Eight of Wands tarot card description. The Eight of Wands is depicted as 8 flying staves that appear as if they are suspended in the air. Some may look at them as wands that are blossoming, that are traveling at maximum speed, or at a maximum speed. The background where they travel through is a clear sky, which represents that there is likely nothing that will stand in the way of these making it to their destination. It shows a majestic landscape with a river that is streaming, the water breathing life to the image. The wands also appear like they are about to land, which signals the end of a long journey. Upright Eight of Wands meaning. The image depicted by the Eight of Wands means that the difficulties that were brought by the Seven of Wands are finally over. It signifies a strong level of energy which states that different aspects of your life will be trailblazing. Perhaps important news will be coming on your way, and you may experience a sudden yet steady positive growth. The Eight of Wands meaning may also pertain to your work. There is a chance that the decision that you are waiting for will come your way soon. You need to be patient and just wait for it. And then it shows in quotes here, so it must be quite important. Perhaps important news will be coming on your way, and you may experience a sudden yet steady positive growth. When it comes to love, the Eight of Wands meaning pertains to your readiness to be committed on a relationship. However, the card advises you not to force the other party to also be ready on the commitment. Your significant other will soon be ready. Forcing things to happen may affect the result negatively. In terms of finances, it appears like this is not the best time to make hasty investment. Just like in your love aspect, we advise you to be patient, save your money, and wait for the perfect time to invest. All things that you fought for are building in momentum. Where you didn't see progress earlier, you'll soon discover that they paved the way for the coming wave of action. Upright love meaning, romantic life picking up pace, excitement, surprises in love. Upright career meaning, quick progress at work, traveling for work, motivation, impact. Upright finances meaning, quick movement of money, cash coming in and going out. Upright Eight of Wands tarot love meaning. Should you find your love life in a rut, you'll be relieved to see movement and excitement once again. If you're single, you'll find that your romantic life is once again set in motion. A new love interest may spark a romance, and your love life can even be moving surprisingly quickly. Make sure you're ready to take advantage of this sometimes frantic energy. If you're currently in an existing relationship, surprises can be in store, giving the two of you some excitement in your relationship. It is likely that these surprises will be welcome ones, but other cards in the spread will help give more context. Career meaning, upright Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands represents rapid movement forward. Applied to your career, this principle can mean rapid movement in the literal or figurative sense. Physically, this card can sometimes indicate that you are about to take a business trip. If that is not the case, it is likely a more broad feeling you have toward the progress you are making at work. You might feel like you are growing rapidly in your career. This is a positive sensation for you right now. It is like you are bursting out from your shell and are finally able to make the impact you desire. This advancement is exciting and invigorating. Go forth with confidence that you will continue to surpass expectations. Finances, meaning upright Eight of Wands. The speed associated with the Eight of Wands applies to your money in this position. It could seem like money is out of your hands as quickly as it came into them. This tendency is not inherently good or bad. Your ability to prosper at this time depends on your ability to remember just how much came in and how much went out. While it is particularly tempting right now, be warned against impulsive spending if you see this card here. The old adage, easy come, easy go, might merit repeating for the next little while. Reversed Eight of Wands, meaning just like the upward Eight of Wands, upward, it should probably say upright. The Eight of Wands reverse meaning is generally associated with patience. There is a possibility that you are feeling frustrated about something. You might now see that what you set in motion earlier created the obstacles that you are discovering right now. It is time for you to understand that you cannot change the past. You must forgive yourself and adapt your strategy. In terms of work, there may be an existing disagreement in your office. You need to settle this quickly in order to avoid derailing any major issue. Breathe, think, and try to relax. Be patient and believe that everything will be just fine. The Eight of Wands reversal meaning on love may pertain to possible jealousy. The jealousy that you are feeling right now has no basis and will just affect your good relationship with your partner. In the aspect of health and spirituality, you need to improve your focus, cooperation, and determination. The energy of the card will just dissipate if you're losing your focus. Reverse love meaning, misunderstandings, delays in love, hectic pace, confusion. Reverse career meaning, career stagnation, lost chances, overwhelmed by job. Reverse finances meaning, slow flow of money, lack of patience for financial growth. Reversed Eight of Wands love, tarot love meaning. Misunderstandings may play a strong role now with the reversed Eight of Wands tarot love meaning. Regardless of whether you're single or attached, make sure to think carefully about what you say or do. If you are tempted to do anything, instead of waiting, you may want to reconsider. Instead of pushing forward, you may be better off giving the other person time or at least making plans. If you're attached, life may be hectic at this moment, making it easier for communication to get lost or confused between you and your partner. Give your lover the benefit of the doubt as the two of you go through this period and make sure to continue communicating. Career meaning, reversed Eight of Wands. In this position, the Eight of Wands has two meanings that can apply to your career. Either you are not moving fast enough in your job or you have moved too quickly in the past. Take stock of how you feel. If you are frustrated by a sense of stagnation at work, this card can signal that you have missed opportunities by failing to act in time. You are not advancing because you let the opportunity to do so pass. If, however, you recently moved up in your career, it might be that you moved too quickly. This concern will manifest by feeling overwhelmed by what people are asking of you. If projects seem daunting, it might be useful to talk to someone about how they handle such tasks. You will learn to handle your new responsibilities, but it will take time and patience. Finances meaning, reversed Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands here means that you are likely frustrated with the speed at which money is coming in. You might feel as if there is not enough or you should be having money flow in faster. The main takeaway from a card is that you should be more patient and remember that everything you are doing is part of your slow march towards progress. Your small investments today will pay off in the end, even if they are frustrating now. If your job does not pay as well as you would like, it might be that you are still paying your dues. One day you may have the job and income you desire, but you have to be patient today. All right, and that's basically it for that site. And that is also it for our live stream tarot card analysis of the Eight of Wands today. So I hope you learned a lot more about this card. I know that I certainly learned a substantial amount of additional information about it. So thank you so much for watching. I want to remind people again that I am doing live tarot readings these days every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. So if you'd like a tarot reading with me, you can come by at that time. Just go directly to my channel to find it. YouTube isn't always like displaying such things these days, so you will likely need to go directly to my channel, quite possibly. And it is on a pay what you want basis, so you can donate any amount through either Super Chat or through PayPal, and I'll be happy to give you a tarot reading on any question of your choice, as long as it is an ethical one. So that's what we'll have yet again this Friday and subsequent Fridays. Other than that, I'll be back this evening with more April forecasts. At least I should be, as long as nothing prevents me from doing so. And then I'll be back on Friday earlier than the tarot reading stream to have the second iteration of my new astrology basics class, where we are looking at the fundamentals of astrology, essentially, and we'll be analyzing the moon that day. So that should be a lot of fun. Oh, and one other thing, for speaking of astrology, for my live tarot readings streams that I do on here on Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time, is that if you're feeling generous and donate $20 or more, I will also give you an astrology consultation, an astrological consultation / birth chart reading, whatever you want to know through astrology, basically for $20 or more, plus a tarot reading. All right, so that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. These dark and troubled times in which we live. Practice social distancing. And happy April Fool's Day. Kind of a funny holiday. Like I said earlier, the fool who persists in his folly will eventually become wise. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.